What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another show of the Business of Strength podcast. I'll be your host today, Dan Goodman, and I am coming at you today with a solo episode. So, myself, along with Joe and Adam, we've had quite a few guests on the show. There have not been a lot of solo episodes. There has not been a lot of episodes with us together, which we will change in the very near future. But I wanted to celebrate and talk about some of the lessons that we've learned along the way in business. So if you follow us on the gram or Facebook, or I speak to you through text, May 1st, 2009 marks 15 years for me being involved with VH. And the origin story, if you haven't heard it, Coach Joe was my coach while I was home in college. I'd come home for winter break, 4 or 5 weeks. I'd come home in the summer, 4 or 5 weeks, got to training with him. One thing led to another, referred him a lot of business. My brother started training with him. I had worked at NVSA. I had worked the front desk at Parisi Speed School. So I had an exposure along the way through high school and obviously playing college football to know that I might want to be involved in a gym. I'm lucky enough that Joe gave me the opportunity to partner up. And May 1, 2009, we signed a lease and partnership agreement to move Joe's original location from Northvale, which he started in 2006, to our second location on 184 in Old Tappan, 184 Central in Old Tappan. And we opened up that gym, which was a great gym, great location, some amazing memories. We opened for business May 19th of 2009. So I'm recording this on May 29th. And, the show is still relevant to the anniversary. So 15 years, 15 lessons for you. Now, I sat down and did a thinking session on, the things I would want to talk about and bring up on the show. And I wrote down way more than 15, but these are the ones that I circled and highlighted that are the most relevant to the listener here. And, experience and context, I think, is everything. And it's why people listen to any kind of podcast. You listen to podcasts for entertainment, inspiration, but obviously education of what, all the big learning experience that we've had has usually been from failing. So, if we failed at something, it's because you don't have to, or if we've really exceeded the expectation somewhere, well, maybe you could follow in our footsteps. So I'll start and it's 15 years, 15 lessons, but I do have one bonus. So it's really 16 lessons, but this is our 16th summer. And if you talk to Big Mike or Joe, from way back in the day, we always categorize things like summer training. That was our busiest time of the year, the first 5 years in business. So our year end was like the end of summer. So the first lesson to kick it off here. The first thing and the lesson that is needed here is you have to learn from people who have done it well before you. And I look back on the early years of us, and I look back to some of the success that we've had. The unique factor that I had is I had a business partner that was a mentor that taught me how to train people. Joe still is a professor of anatomy and physiology at Montclair State University. Me graduating with a lot of experience in a weight room, being coached. I did not graduate with an exercise science degree. So Joe really helped fill in the gaps that I had from a physiology and anatomy standpoint to go and train people. He also gave me the wherewithal of the people as a college athlete who I needed to be studying. I knew about conjugate while I was in college. I was following Westside, reading the manuals as a college athlete. So I was learning from somebody that I thought was doing it well along the way. In high school, for a summer, I had Martin Rooney as a strength coach, right? I was working the front desk in Closter at Parisi Speed School. I was seeing great coaches, and my exposure, even before really knowing that I wanted to be in the gym industry, was that of some great mentors and coaches. Along the way, One of our core values at Varsity House is a commitment to excellence. A pillar of that is education. We spend more money on education in 2024 than we ever have. And it's not just for the leaders in our company, it's everybody, top to bottom. We're going to Perform Better seminars. We're going to Summer Strong. We're going to SPF events. We're hosting our own events. We're paying a guest speaker every single month to come in and speak to our team, so we can draw inspiration, motivation, and, be part of the change of of a business that's always evolving, right? You're either growing or dying. We want to make sure that we're constantly growing as a business, and the forefront of that is education. So we are constantly learning from people who have done it well before us. That is from the early days up until now, and that will never change. The second thing, if you're a brand new business, if you're somebody that I'm talking to a guy today that I know he listens to the show, so I'm not going to use his name, but he's retiring from a service job, and he's going to open a gym. And I said, what's the first thing I should start with? I said, what are your core values? He's like, I don't know. Do I need those? I said, yeah, you should. You should absolutely have those, right? What's your goal? Like, what's the mission? What are you going to be known for? And you need to verbalize your core values, because ultimately 5, 7, 10 years from now, that's what will attract future talent, and that will attract potential clients. People align with mission, they align with values. Our core values hang in the gym: hungry, humble, committed. And we reference those values all the time. We reference our interpersonal code of conduct, which is being swift. We're smiling, we're working the room, we're instigating success, we're finding friends, we're being thankful every single day. And our team is hired and fired based on those values, and measured based on those values. Mission statement, what are you in business to do? What are you trying to accomplish? Why you? What's the unique factor of your gym or your training? What are members going to feel like after they leave your gym? Right? Are you a mission-driven business? It starts with, well, how are you affecting change in your neighborhood? Right? Why you guys? So verbalize your core values and your mission as a company, even if you're just getting going. Number 3, and it's off the heels of that, establish a target. What is the 1-year goal? Right. I love thinking in 1 year because it's super actionable. You take, all right, it's May 29th, 1 year from now, where are we going to be? And work backwards from there. My general belief is a 10-year target, especially as a new business, it's too far out there, right? It's too much in la la land, in dreamer land. You can have a 5-year target, you could have a 3-year target, but especially as a new business, a 1-year target. Where are you today? Where are you going to be 1 year from now? Where are you today? Where are you going to be 3 years from now? And work backwards from those starting points. From there, the 4th, have an actionable plan. Some people get totally inundated with goal setting. We see this every year with, New Year's resolutions and people making the same goal year after year after year. That's because they don't put a plan in place to actually achieve the goal. Here's an example. Let's say you finish a year with 50 clients and you say, hey, by the end of next year, we're going to have 100 clients. We're going to be doing $30,000 a month. Okay, that's great. Like, those are great goals, but what are you doing to get there? Then I would ask somebody like, okay, well, what are you doing to generate leads? Well, I don't know. Word of mouth, referral. It's like, well, how are we quantifying the action so that you don't finish next year with 50 clients, the same that you had this year? So the plan that I would want them to institute would be, okay, well, we don't do any marketing right now, so we're going to send out an email to our client list every Monday and Friday. Okay, that's a start. we are going to post a social media post 3 times a week. And on Fridays, we're going to post an offer every single week. All right, that's a start. Every month, we're going to do a tabling event. Great. Now we're focused on a marketing plan to generate more leads, which will generate more first-time clients or first-time customers, which should generate more members. And along the way, if you're having an issue at a conversion point from lead to consult or from consult to client, obviously you can pressure test what's wrong there. If it's not equating to enough leads, well, then usually you just have to push a little bit more volume to the marketing. It's just one example based on a goal. If you want more clients, usually you have to get more leads and you have to make sure the critical event of training is actually pretty good. But it's just one example that's very tangible and metric driven. You have to fall in love with the process. You have to fall in love with the action plan. What do I do every day? What do I do every week? What do I circle up on every month that gets me slightly closer to my year-end target? You have to fall in love with the habits that equate to hopefully the year-end goal. But for the meatheads that listen to this show, it's just like a training plan. I could roll into a gym. I want to bench 400 pounds and be 15% body fat. Okay, great. Well, what are your commitments towards training look like? Because you ain't going to get there training 2 times a week and eating like you're going to a carnival every weekend. Okay, so what are you committed? What's the plan that you're committed to executing upon? So always have a plan. If it's memorable, it's repeatable. Number 5. Oftentimes when you speak to people, this could be 5 and 6, but I'm just going to categorize it as 1. People will have, or gyms will have, an onboarding system for new clients. How they intake somebody, let's say it's an assessment, let's say they become a member, they add them to a Facebook group, they give them a gift, they set up their schedule for the first month, whatever it is, they weigh them in. There's always some type of a process. But when I ask them, okay, well, you're hiring a new coach, do you have a process in place for that? And usually it's crickets. The onboarding for a new team member needs to be as choreographed, in my opinion, almost more choreographed than the onboarding of a new client. The ultimate lever in a service business is being able to create other service providers that can emulate what you do on the training floor or do it better. And which in our case, we have service providers at Varsity House now that do it way better on the training floor than I ever have or will. So that comes back down to onboarding. Do they know the values of your company? Do they know how we communicate? Do they know the meeting schedule? Do they know how to dress? Do they know what paid time off looks like? Do they know where to go upstream if they have a payroll issue? Try and solve as much of that in a few-page onboarding document that they can do at their pace over the course of 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever you think it should be. But you need to choreograph the onboarding period. The same way that you might write a card or text a new client to see how they're doing, you should do the same with a new employee, a team member. Their success is your success. Trust me. Okay. Onboarding needs to be choreographed and it should be spot on and airtight. Number 6, you must embrace marketing. This could be a show in and of itself, but you have to embrace marketing. And we love Donald Miller stuff and how to build a story brand. But if you come to our gyms, it's not a million pictures of like Joe or myself or Mike, Adam, Alex, Kat, Colin, Steph. It's not a million pictures of us. Our clients tell the story. Their success is our success. So we are constantly engaging our community, re-engaging our email list, re-engaging our social media followers, re-engaging our community with real life success stories of people that have achieved the said goal that they had when they came to us in the first place. We constantly retell the stories. We constantly retell how we helped, let's say, Dana get past, getting back in the gym after having a baby. Like, we understand the pain points of our customers, and we understand how we can speak to and solve the issues that they have. And we retell these stories. We re-engage based on the empathy statements day after day, month after month. And at this point, we have somebody, Joe, no better person than the founder to retell the story, and his full-time job is retelling our story through paid ads, through ad copy, through video, through social, through email, through podcast mediums, being on other people's podcasts. But you have to embrace marketing. Okay. You have to embrace retelling the story and making sure that the client is the hero in the journey. You're the guide, the client's the hero. All right. And you must embrace marketing skills. And it doesn't have to be like a full-time job, but you have to show, okay, this is where Dana started. This is where she is now. This is what we've accomplished. You could be just like her. Right. That has to be constant. And you show me a business that's struggling financially, and I'll show you a business that is not spending any time thinking about marketing or the acquisition of new customers. Number 7, I kind of just touched upon it, but it's important to reiterate. Understand the root problems you solve for your potential clients. Why do your clients come and see you? What problems do you solve? Some of the problems that we solve, we guarantee results. We take the guesswork out of training. We eliminate wasted time in the gym because they come in with a plan. Somebody's holding them accountable. If there's somebody that struggles getting to the gym, well, guess what? We have accountability coaches that are bothering you to get you back in the gym. We have flexible scheduling because we understand that shit happens. Most of our clients are parents and have kids that need to be run all over the place. The kids that come and train in our sports performance program, the problem that they have is maybe they got cut from a team. Maybe they're insecure or overweight. Maybe they're slow. Maybe they're trying to play college sport and they're not sure if they're going to be able to, and they want to learn from somebody who's coached others to get there. Understand the problems you solve and speak to them in your marketing. Know your empathy statements. It's a drill we work on extensively at our 2-day business of strength immersions. Number 8, you cannot outwork or outmarket a terrible price sheet. I was talking to somebody this morning about this, and ultimately, if you're not charging what you're worth, if you're in a service-based business, you can only charge so much per hour. You can only charge somebody so much per session. But I talk about this a lot in our 2-day immersions where we had Ryan Lee for a full day at the gym. And I remember we were working like crazy, 8, 10, 12 sessions a day, like outside, off-site. And we felt a level of burnout in 2013, 2014 when we just had moved. And it was like, I don't know how much more efficient we can get. We were an inefficient business. But he's like, well, listen, you guys have about 350, 400 clients, and you're averaging, at the time, we were averaging about 1,000, 1,200 check-ins a week. He's like, well, to get to where you're going, you're going to have to service 700 clients a week and about 17 or 1,800 check-ins. It might have been 2,000 check-ins. Like, do you think you guys could do that? It was like, there's no way. And he's like, well, the easy solution is you take your price point from where it's at now. And it was like, at the time, like $150, $170 a month. And he's like, well, do you think you could build a lot of value in a $300 a month price point or $400 a month price point? And we didn't have the solution then, but it was an aha moment to go, oh my God, like, to be able to sustain this place, we're going to need to serve 700 people at this price point. Like, the product is bound to suffer. Or we can increase price and make sure we not only maintain, but make the product better, right? Which matches that value proposition along the way. And that's what we opted to do. And that's what we've grown into over the years. But case in point, like, if you're doing one-on-one private training, charging $60 an hour, you can't charge that. You can't charge that and make money with rent, overhead. If you're paying payroll on it, it's just, you got to charge what you're worth. You have to charge what you're worth. And it changes over time, but you can't outrun a bad price sheet. Number 9, you have to take care of yourself along the way. This is giving yourself permission to take a day off. This is giving yourself permission to exercise every day. This is giving yourself permission to take a lunch break. And it's just, not much needs to be said beyond that. All right, we're in the health and wellness space. You should be able to create and protect an hour every single day to do something for your health. That's, sleep. It's the AM PMs are tough. Something that we do to protect our coaches is we only allow 2, in most cases, unless it's a coverage, 2 AMs and PMs per week. All other days, they're working either just a PM or just an AM. So see if you can create efficiencies in your schedule that protects your sleep, that protects your health. You got to take care of yourself along the way. To piggyback on that, number 10, all the money is in the schedule efficiencies. We go back to, you can't outrun a terrible price sheet. A lot of that problem there too was in our schedule and how inefficient it was. We were taking sessions, team training, AM, PM, any day, anytime, very little method to the madness. It was just, where somebody wants to train, we're going to train them. And as a startup business, you have to have a level of that, right? You do. But I take a look at, like, Oradell, sure, there's some brand association around that business, but for all intents and purposes, we're opening in a town where the first 8 to 10 people that signed up there, sure, they knew a friend of a friend that knew us. Maybe, let's call it, another 10 knew the brand from whatever it might be. But we had 50, 55 people that signed up that had no idea, no preconceived notion of who we were. And we weren't funneling them into the times and spaces that they wanted to train. We were funneling them into a very linear schedule that said, hey, these are the days that we're open. These are the days that we train. This is how many people we train at these times. And our marketing and sales efforts went to fill those booking slots. So make sure your schedule is efficient. I see oftentimes gyms have they have sports performance, large group, small group, and private all at the same time, right? Like, you need 4 coaches to run that. That's inefficient. For us, back in the day, example for sports performance, we would have 3 teams training in a day, and then our athlete open enrollment, which is like our evergreen program that's always there, we would have a male time, a female time, a junior time. And those times would be like at half capacity. It's like, well, why don't we just land a team to train in one of these times? Why don't we make our male and female high school training just co-ed? And, like, obviously these are things that we've done over the years to become a more efficient business, but all the money is made in efficiencies in your schedule. Number 11, piggybacking on that, it's easier to add than it is to subtract. Once you've added something and your clients get used to something, a service, a product, a time, it's it's hard to subtract it, right? I look at this again, Oradell, Ridgewood. These are businesses that sell one product. These are businesses that sell 3 price points, all based on the same product. And that's just how much frequency these people want, right? Keep it simple. Keep it as simple as possible. It's easier to add than it is to subtract. Usually Oradell, once again, we made a decision. Hey, we're opening with this many sessions per week. When we hit this many clients, we will open to phase 2 of the schedule. When we hit the next rung of clients, we will open to phase 3 of the schedule. Right now, fortunately, we're in phase 2 of the schedule. Another 10 people will open to phase 3, and that's where it'll live for probably a year, maybe 2. If we're busting at the seams, will we add maybe 1 or 2 sessions more? Maybe, but we're going to be slow to add, right? Because it's difficult to subtract. Number 12. This one's not original, but it's been something that it's something that Dan Sullivan has written about, and it's something that Vince Gabriel has brought to our attention as we continue to grow and he consults with our business. It's who, not how. Who, not how. You don't have to know how to do everything well in your business, right? You should have some level of an understanding, but most of the time, growth, like a big lever in a business is finding the person that you can hire, that knows how to do the job and has batteries included. For instance, in years past, we have hired coaches that needed, and we still do in our internship, that have needed a tremendous amount of runway on how to program, structure a session, still needed to be certified. And that's fine. We still have our internship for that. But our business at this point, we serve a tremendous amount of people. If somebody decides to move on, or we need to replace a coach, or we need to add a coach due to growth, we don't have 6 months to develop a coach. We need somebody that has real experience, that knows what they're doing, that can see a program, sit in on a couple coaches meetings, watch for a week or 2, and get right to coaching. And if, sometimes that has to do with programming efficiencies and making sure that it's easy to follow and easy to reiterate. But a lot of times it's just going out and finding the right person to do it and knowing what you're looking for. And we have gone out and recruited coaches that have been ready to coach straight away, and just the efficiencies that it creates are tremendous. And you might pay a little more straight away, but you get it back, being that you don't have to wait 6 months for them, or 3 months even, for them to start being an earner in your business. They could start being an earner in your business if it's the right person in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I look at Anthony as a facility leader in Oradell. He came with 15 years experience, with 5 of those in sales, right? It's no surprise that Oradell opened nearly at capacity. We had a much better plan in place than the first time around, but we also had the right person. We had the right person. Okay, who, not how. Number 13. This is a John Wooden quote that I use in all the presentations. Never mistake activity for achievement. I'll give an example. In early years, I was like hung up, like we started a YouTube channel. I'm like, all right, how many YouTube views are we getting? How many subscribers are we getting? Mind you, we didn't have a point of sale in place, right? We would lose. We were writing down sessions and attendance handwritten, right? We were mistaking activity for achievement. Who gives a shit how many people were watching, right? Let's make sure that the people that are coming are actually paying for sessions. So This could be applied for a lot of areas in business where people are like, what's the best medium to talk to clients? Facebook is dead. Nobody looks at Facebook. And I'll say, well, in terms of your marketing, how much messaging did you send out in the month of May? Well, crickets. And it's like, you look at their, let's say they love YouTube and they put out one video and it's a perfect video, right? I like speed with marketing, volume with marketing, clear messaging, clear call to action, supports your mission, supports your core values. Make sure that you are achieving, right? That you're not just pushing papers around thinking about pie in the sky bullshit. You get paid for work that gets finished and completed, right? You don't, in a new business, you don't get paid for what ifs or you should or I might. You must get things done. So never mistake activity for achievement. Number 14, almost there. I wish I knew this one because I used to make a lot of excuses for it. This could be 14A, 14B. I told you I had a lot, but attrition never ends. Clients can become friends. I have multiple clients that came to my wedding. I've gone out to dinner with them. I've, you know, have taken trips with some people, and they're not clients anymore, and that's okay. I'm still friends with the majority of them, but life happens. Things happen. We've been a business now, like we said, since 2006, right? So these people might have started training when they were 40, and now they're 60 or almost 60, 58, whatever it is. So people move, people's interests change, injuries happen, whatever. That doesn't matter, and it doesn't make it good, bad, or indifferent. It's just it never ends, which is why you have to embrace marketing. It never ends. You can definitely mitigate it and lower it, but it will never end. Okay, always leave the door open. Be a pro, and remember, there's more than just training at your gym or with you. Okay, so be a pro about that. That's with clients and with the team. I used to think that everybody would stay forever, and I'm very prideful in the fact that we have some people that have been with us from the very start, clients and team, and I hope that will continue. But I'm not naive to know, and through experience, some people move on. You can have same thing there. You could have a pro exit. You could have a not pro exit. Take the high road. Some exits will be tough, but if somebody moves on to do something else, they want to start their own thing, they want a career change, celebrate them on the way out, and make sure that you're open and honest with where a career can go in your space. And have definitely learned that over the years, and take pride in being very clear with the expectation and where things can go. So attrition never ends. You can be great at it, right? I'm really happy right now. We're pitching a near shutout of attrition in Ridgewood. We're doing excellent in Oradell, and we have, with nearly 400 clients in Orangeburg, a 3% attrition rate in the month of May. Still a couple days to go, but we've spent a lot of time there. And on the team side, we have a multitude of people that have put forth a decade of service in our gym, and hopefully we get people to 2 decades and 3 decades. But a great team is a blend of veterans and rookies. So you can't ever stop recruiting new clients to mitigate attrition, and you can't ever stop recruiting and training new team members to not only breathe fresh life and juice onto the team, but push the veterans along and obviously allow the veterans to coach other people. That's a fulfilling part of any career, I think. 15. I spoke a lot about this one, and it's something I saw on a t-shirt at Zingerman's in Ann Arbor recently. And it's a quote that reads inversely to what most people think. Most people think of this quote as, I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it. And if you've read anything by Carol Dweck, you know, with mindsets, that is usually a fixed mindset, like negative connotation. It's not going to happen. Like, yeah, whatever. The quote that I saw at Zingerman's is, uh, you'll see it when you believe it. You'll see it when you believe it. And that's a powerful quote. And we started with core values, mission, having a goal target. And I do believe in manifestation. Uh, Manifestation is believing it before it actually happens. And it's tricking your subconscious mind into conscious activity. Now, that's the big part, right? We talk about having a plan. There's plenty of people that have all these crazy beliefs and these crazy goals and aspirations. That's where it starts. But you got to make sure that it influences your daily habits and your daily plan and your weekly calendar, and set up your next calendar. You have to time audit yourself and look, how am I spending my time? Does this lead me towards what I believe in? Does this lead me towards the change I'm trying to affect? You'll see the change when you believe it. Part of the belief could be in daily beliefs. Okay, I'm going to take this next step. I'm going to believe in myself to maybe do one less session so that I could focus 1 hour on the team that I'm working with, or that I want to work with, or that I want to build. And I'm going to build out my employee handbook, or my core values, or my mission, whatever it is. Okay. You'll see the change when you believe it. That's 15. 16 is the bonus. And this is one that I get a lot of questions on. And I think we're kind of a not an anomaly, because there's a lot of great partnerships in fitness, but partnerships can work. I'll repeat, partnerships can work. Like anything, you have to work at making them be at making the partnership work. But we have a multitude of partners in a multitude of different businesses, and as long as the core values align, as long as there's a similar vision of where you would like to go, and open and honest communication and expectation, clarity is kind, and partnerships can work as long as there's clear expectations and clearly defined roles. That is, the reason why I wanted to end there is, to be honest, I look at this and it's like, man, going into year 16, what I do today is completely different than when I started in the business. And the same goes for Joe. The same goes for other partners that we have in our business. And our goal as a company is to continue to give people the opportunity to fulfill their goal of being a partner or a managing partner in sites and other businesses. Because I look at it, for me, I wouldn't be on this podcast, the Business of Strength podcast, had Joe not given me the ability to be a partner in a business, to live out a dream and fulfill a dream. So with I'll end on this: with clear expectations, clear roles, and similar values, partnerships can 100% work. I wouldn't rush into them. I would be very calculated with it, but they absolutely can work. All right. So that's 15 years and 16 lessons. This might have to be a two-part. I think it would be cool to get Joe on and interview him with 15. He's got more than 15 years, but we could get an episode from Joe who started 2006, so he could do 18 years, 18 years, 18 lessons, and keep this thing going. But as always, we appreciate you listening. If this is a show that you enjoy, sharing it with friends, 5-star reviews are much, much appreciated. And this is the Business of Strength, everybody. Have a great day.